How much do you need? We're going to extend you. And what players do you want us to go get? Let's work together here.
Key, have you ever had those moments where something went wrong, like with your wife, and you're like, hold on, let me just go get the flowers. Let me go get everything that she loves. We're going to be better. What do you need me to do? What do you need me to do to make this relationship better? Whatever it is you need me to do. You want me to say please, please, please by James Brown? I'll sing to you. I'll do whatever you need to do to make us continue to go in the right path.
I'm not telling you what my conversations are when.
Jeez, I didn't mean it was being sarcastic. Jeez.
I think the other thing too is if you give them more money, it's not even like a saving face mechanism, because when you have a quarterback that's unhappy, that is probably, as crazy as it sounds in the world of sports, underpaid for what he does. If you were to just say, hey, we want to extend you, the love thing is the love thing. But if you just go out and say, listen, we're going to give you more money, that's because you've earned it, back-to-back NFC Championship game appearances. They can appease and mollify him, which obviously part of this is probably squeezing out an extra few bucks. We get it. But they can do it under the auspices of, the guy's earned it.
What word did you just use again?
Which one?
You said, what?
Oh, under the...
You said octopus? What was that?
Under the assumption,
yes.
Right? Under the assumption that you've earned this money. So it's not like we're giving this to you to sort of extend an olive branch or anything like that. You've taken us to the brink of the Super Bowl with a head coach that's never been a head coach. In each of his first 2 years, you've earned the money. I don't think people will buy that, but they could reasonably go to Aaron and say, all right, bro, you've outperformed it. You've earned it.
Yeah, but however they need to get there to close that gap, extend that olive branch, whatever it is, they need to do it, Zubin. I don't care what it is. Make him the highest paid quarterback in NFL history by a landslide, extend him out, and then help him bring some players there, Zubin, so that they can go on and try and win another Super Bowl.
Wait, you're paying him more than Patrick Mahomes?
Absolutely.
By landslide?
Absolutely.
By landslide?
Absolutely. Real money, not funny money.
Okay.
Speaking of in a landslide, one former Patriot teammate said it was all Tom.
And he was so, he was really descriptive about the agony he went through at Michigan, having to sit and wait his turn. And then, when he finally got a chance to play his last 2 years, he was always looking over his shoulder at Drew Henson. And I just think that, kind of hardened his resolve. And it strengthens his commitment. I know you guys have talked a lot about Tom's commitment. And he's just such an intense studier. His teammates love playing with him. He's just special. He's just a special player. And I know there are a lot of people out there who are tired of Brady. But, I look at it like this. I think, football fans just in general really need to embrace what's going on here. He's 43 years old, and he's playing in his 10th Super Bowl. Michael Jordan was 36 when he won his 6th championship, or 35. And, this guy is eight years older and still playing at an incredibly high level. I just think we're not going to see anything like this again in maybe our lifetime.
That would be true. I'm never sick and tired of watching people win, Gary. When you think about winning, and I told the guys this a week ago, this is the week that the Bill Belichick, Tom Brady conversation comes up, right? The Patriots miss the playoffs. Tom Brady is now playing in his 10th Super Bowl. How has that conversation been this week about those two?
Well, I think that the momentum in this argument has certainly shifted towards Tom. But, Key, if you had asked me in June, one of these, of the Patriots and Bucks, if one of them was going to make the Super Bowl and the other wasn't going to make the playoffs, which would it be? And I think it was pretty clear this was going to be a transition year for New England. Now, I'm not making any excuses for Belichick, because he didn't have a transition plan in place, which is shocking. And, considering how prepared he is for everything, and Key, that, you were around him for 3 years with the Jets. I'm just shocked that he went from Brady to basically nothing. But I thought it was fairly predictable that if one of the two was going to have success this year, it would be Brady, because he walked into a ready-made situation there with probably the best skill position players he's ever had, other than maybe 2007 with Randy Moss and Wes Welker in their primes, and a really good defense. So they were a Tom Brady type player away from being a really good team. And Tom, in 4 months, has changed the narrative in Tampa by changing the culture of that team and changing everybody's perspective of that team. I mean, it's really been pretty amazing. But, overall, I know this is a kind of a cop-out, but, I've been asked the question so many times, was it Brady or Belichick? I really think it was Brady for the last 15 years, but Brady needed Belichick in the first 3-4 years of his career, first to draft him and then to develop him. But ultimately, I think history will remember that they really needed each other.
Gary, we've been having this conversation this morning about the fact that Tom Brady says that he could play up until he's 45 or maybe even surpass 45 years old. I am one of these people. I would love to see Tom Brady ride off into the sunset with the storybook ending, winning a championship, instead of seeing, potentially the last couple of years of his career, if that's plagued by injury, whatever it may be. How long, realistically, do you think Tom can play this game at a high level?
Well, Jay, I think it's two pretty clear factors that will determine his decision. One, physically, is he healthy? And two, he's going to be the best judge of what level he's playing at. And, I talked to Tom's dad last week for my podcast, and I asked him that question. And he said he didn't know. He didn't know. But he said that Tom has always told him, he goes, "Dad, I'm going to play until I suck." Which I thought is like, yeah, that makes sense to me. He's going to play until he feels that he can't compete, that he's not good enough to compete for a Super Bowl. And I think he's smart enough. He will not hang on. I'm convinced of that. Now, he might start off the season and realize by Thanksgiving he just can't do it anymore. But I don't think he'll ever go into a season thinking, I'm squeezing one more year out of my career, but I'm not really up for it. I don't think he'll put himself in a position ever that he'll embarrass himself. And, based on what we've seen this year, the end isn't anywhere close. And I don't think there's any chance whatsoever, especially after what he said yesterday, but I thought this beforehand. There's no chance, win or lose, that he's retiring after Sunday's game and walking off like John Elway did. That's just not happening.
So considering this Super Bowl is the GOAT versus the baby GOAT, we have our poll question, which I think is really interesting, Gary. What would be more impressive, Brady winning 2 Super Bowls after 40 or Mahomes winning 2 before he turns 26 years old?
Wow. I would have to say winning 2 after 40. Because it's unheard of for a player at this age, especially in such a physically demanding sport, to be playing at such a high level at this age. And Patrick Mahomes is great. And if there's anybody who's playing now or that we can see coming up through college who might be great in the NFL, but if there's any quarterback who has a chance to duplicate what Brady has done, it's Mahomes. But, even if Patrick wins Sunday, he's still got a long way to go. And other quarterbacks, I think Tom probably wasn't much older than Patrick when he won his second. I don't think there'll ever be another quarterback that has a chance to win 2 Super Bowls after the age of 40. He's been in more Super Bowl. He's been in 3 Super Bowls now after the age of 40, which is as many as Dan Marino, Aaron Rodgers, and Drew Brees combined played in their entire career. Think about that. 3